Hello everyone, welcome back to WhiskyWars. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys some wine finished Scotch whiskies that I really recommend for the money. These are going to be budget picks, but I will start off with the most expensive one, which is £47. The others are £40 and under. So let's start off with the most expensive one. This is a Highland whiskey and it's actually a Glendronach. It's bottled at 48% and it's going to be the traditionally peated. Now this Glendronach is aged in PX sherry cask as well as Oloroso sherry cask, but also, and quite interestingly, a third maturation of port. And this whiskey, even though it's peated, it's a whiskey that I really enjoy and I really want to recommend to you guys. Now, it's not the best whiskey in the world, but I happen to really enjoy it for the money. The peat in this whiskey does not come across like an Island peat or an Isla peat, but what it does do, which I quite enjoy, is it adds a tobacco leaf. That's the peated element for me. It doesn't really add anything too salty or anything like that. No, there's no forest elements to the whiskey. Imagine some dried out tobacco leaves with all those luscious red fruits that you normally would expect from a Glendronach. So certainly not one to overlook. It is really enjoyable. I really do like it, and actually this was my Christmas dram of last year. I really enjoyed it on Christmas Day, but certainly more of an evening whiskey when it comes to that tobacco influence. Okay, now we have a big proof drop and I'm going to go for a Speyside whiskey, and it's a recent purchase actually. I got this one in July. RRP though in the UK is £40, although you can regularly find it for the low 30s. Now this is the Benroic 10, bottled at 43%, and really interestingly with this was a whiskey that I've been recommended for quite some time, and I just never really found it for an amazing price on sale, which is like me. I will happily wait a year, 2 years for a really good sale. So I never picked it up, but I always wanted to. And this whiskey, even though it's a Speyside whiskey, of course it has those rich red fruits that you would expect from something that is wine finished, but it really does give you elements of a Campbelltown whiskey. It gives that Campbelltown oiliness into the whiskey, and that really intrigued me. It's first fill cask matured, and it does add an element of smokiness to the whiskey. So there's a smokiness, a smoked wood, but also very, very Campbelltown oily, but also still happens to remind you of a normal Speyside that's full of rich red fruits. It's a very, very nice whiskey, I must admit. And definitely, if you can find this for the low 30s, I would recommend snapping it up. So the Benroic 10. Now number 3 on this list, and they're in no particular order as well, I have to stress that. This is an Island whiskey. It is peated, but it's bottled at 46% and it's finished in Rioja red wine casks. From the Isle of Mull, this is the ledaig Rioja cask, bottled at 46%, 46.3% ABV. It comes in a beautiful box. I love this cardboard box. And this is the peated line of the Tobermory distillery. What I will say about this whiskey is, if you're expecting a traditional peated sherried whiskey, you're gonna be disappointed, because I find it more unique than that. Great uniqueness in this whiskey. It comes across the Rioja influence on this, the way it interacts with this ledaig, comes across a little bit vegetal, a little bit funky, not as sweet as what you may expect, but a great whiskey nonetheless. This whiskey is priced around the £38–39 mark. However, you can pick it up on sales for the low 30s. In fact, this used to be £32 until it had a recent price increase. But still, fantastic value for money, and one that I really do recommend. Now at number 4, this is a whiskey that I actually drunk a while ago, so I no longer have the bottle. In fact, I cleared the bottle out a few months ago. But it is an Islay whiskey, and I wanted to include an Islay whiskey on here. Of course, I could include the Ardbeg Wee Beastie since it's one of my favourites, but the sherry cask influence is not overpowering for me. I wanted this list to be for wine lovers, and I want that wine influence to be extremely dominant in the whiskey. But it still has to be cheap. So for me, I've actually gone for the Benroic 12-year-old. This whiskey really does impart a lot of flavour from those sherry casks. I know it's not sung about too much, but I think for the money, it's very good value. So right now in the UK, it's around the £35 mark. It did used to be always around the £25 mark on offer, but it's not available for that anymore. I would say if you can find it for around £30, I think it's really good value for money. 12 years of age, yes, it is 40% ABV, but it's a whiskey that I do enjoy, I have to be honest. So finally, guys, for the most budget pick, and this is an unpeated pick as well. It is a blended Scotch though, but it's one that I actually really recommend for people, especially this line. This series that they have going on. They're 46% ABV and they're available for £25 RRP, but you can pick them up for the low 20s when on offer. So I think they're exceptional value for money. And it is going to be from Black Bottle, but it is going to be from their Alchemy series. So actually, when it comes to Black Bottle, I don't recommend picking up the 10-year-old. I don't recommend picking up the standard release. I recommend going for the Alchemy series. Now, I only have the first two. I have the Island Smoke and I have this one, which is the double cask. This includes malts finished in Spanish sherry casks, as well as 12-year-old grain matured in red wine casks. And if I'm being honest with you, for the money, I think you get a really good bang for your buck here. Of course, it's not going to blow anyone away, but if you just want a sweet sipper for low cost, you can do a lot worse than this whiskey. It doesn't get a lot of hype. In fact, I never see it on YouTube. So it's one that I really wanted to include for you guys, just to show you something maybe you've not seen before. Again, £25, but I did pick this one up for £21. You really can't go wrong for that sort of money. For the flavour that you do get from it, I think really, really good stuff. Okay guys, I'm just going to put them out in front of me now. So we have the Black Bottle, number 1 in the Alchemy series. This is the double cask. We have the Ledaig Rioja cask. The Benroic 10. And the Glendronach traditionally peated. Also, special mention to the Benroic 12-year-old. I don't have the bottle on me, unfortunately. These are going to be 5 recommendations from me that I do recommend you guys pick up. If you want something that's cheap, if you want something that's affordable, but really does include a lot of flavour from those wine casks. I know some whiskies can have a finishing period in wine casks and they just influence the whiskey. No. These ones really do, I'd say, almost dominate the whiskey. They impart a lot of flavour from those wine casks. And all for good prices. This one's a little bit expensive, so you may want to give this one a miss. But for the other ones, and especially if you're really on a budget, £25, and if you can, I would say wait for a sale and pick up a few of the range when they're around that £20–21 mark. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much to my Patreon members. Your support really does mean a lot to me. If you did enjoy the video, please drop a like rating down below and don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. And if you have stayed till the end, guys, you have been pleasantly rewarded. I haven't done this on purpose. I realised when I was talking through them, I thought 5. There was 6 on my list. And I just hadn't got it. I've got the whiskey now. This is another whiskey that I strongly recommend. This whiskey actually blew me away. I'll be honest with you, I'm really impressed with this whiskey. It's 10 years of age. It is a Highland whiskey. It's bottled at 46%. And it's finished in Bordeaux red wine casks. It's the Deanston 10. Bordeaux red wine cask finish. Bottled at 46.3% ABV. It does say travel retail exclusive. I did actually pick it up in Manchester Airport for £28. Blown away by that. I have seen it though, it's not actually travel retail exclusive. I think it was originally bottled for that. But you can find this one online. It's around £40, but it is quite hard to find. I know Master of Malt do it in the UK, but they've priced it at £53. Don't recommend it for that. If you find it for £40, I think this is really good value for money. Like I say, this blew me away, this whiskey. So here we have it, full of red grapes, but also hints of chocolate. Think of red grapes, toffee apples, milk chocolate, and a little bit of baking spice as well. It was a beautiful whiskey. I've not had it in some time because it is rather low. And I was going to save it for another Whiskey War with maybe another Deanston in the future. So there you have it, guys. If you've stayed till the end, you've got a little bit of something as a bonus. So because I have a terrible memory, and I've actually done this a couple of times in some of my list videos, it always pays to watch until the end. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and I hope to see you all for the next Whiskey War.